I'm so confused as to how much protein and fat I should eat, how many times a day, etc. Perhaps because most influencers think carnivore keto is for weight loss. Pretty much, that's the thing. That's pretty much. Look, I will say to people, you got to look at your lean body mass and eat a couple of grams per kilo of lean body mass, or about a gramish for each pound of lean body mass is what you sort of should be looking at, which is sort of like your ideal weight. What is it? It's about 70 odd something percent. I cannot remember. I think it's about 75% or around there for women. So your ideal body weight, so what your ideal body weight would be, about 75% of that would be most of your musculoskeletal tendons and all that sort of structure, which you need protein for that. So getting slightly like 1.1 per pound, or around about 1.1, sorry, 2.2 per kilo of should cover all your protein requirements, plus all the protein required for the peptides or polypeptides and enzymes that your body needs to transcript. That will be the optimal level. If you really want to go on the optimal level, you can still, because we do recycle some organelles and stuff like that, so you can actually go a bit lower than that at 1.75. But at the end of the day, I'd rather be a bit higher rather than a bit lower in that regard. And then energy, how much do you need? So what is your physical level, your activity, and all that? It sort of tends to be a 1-to-1 in terms of the sort of energy type thing. Sort of in terms of volume of, you're probably looking at 30 odd percent in terms of volume, when we're looking at volume in terms of fat to protein, in the sort of thing. So work out the to lean body mass, how much you need, and then divide that by 70% to get the 30% of what the fat content, and then work out what the food you're eating and what the fat content is. Is it sufficient for your needs and stuff like that? Is really the way you want to go in a general way. Now, women need a bit more. So when you get that figure of energy, which is the male type, then times that by 1.2. So that means it'll be slightly different. It's the ratios are really, I don't like them, but it's the one way I do with the male one. And then from that, I add 1.2%, like 1.2 times, and in that way I get the extra fat required for women for their endocrine requirements and stuff like that. And for men, I usually encourage more than 2 grams per kilo of body weight, or 1 gram per pound of body weight. I usually encourage like something like 3 odd, or 2.5 or a bit more. So, I do about 2.5, sometimes 3 is what I do in terms of the protein thing. But the slight variance in those things. But in your case, also because I know your situation with your mitochondria, you also need to, you've been doing metabolic water, and I know that is really helping you improve, adding some additional fats to sort of balance all that and dilute a bit of that, and to get the body used to utilizing the, making those adjustments in the water sort of content and water production in your body is really important, to slowly shift a lot of that sort of the way things are happening in your body. So just keep that in mind. Look, I know it is a bit confusing, but I usually say that if you get a proper untrimmed piece of meat, you won't go wrong. The biggest problem is that most meat nowadays in stores is trimmed, so we lose a lot of the fat content, and that's where we have to work out the difference and then say, okay, when am I going to get it? I'll add it. Many people just, rather than trying to buy tallow, they don't. Some people buy tallow. Some people say, no, bugger it, I'll just use dairy fat like butter and stuff like that. And I don't mind that actual approach. I'll tell you why I don't mind it. It's got some advantages. Some of the advantages is you've got the reverse electron transport effect of stearic acid and palmitate, which actually increases the biogenesis of mitochondria. So that's a good thing, that you're getting a benefit there from those extra amounts of those long chain saturated fats. Then you've got the medium chain triglycerides and short chain fatty acids, so you're getting more ketone body production, so much better for the brain as well, and certain other tissue. So there are some advantages there as well, as long as you don't have any sensitivities to dairy. Obviously, I know you don't, but some people, just for other people that are listening, there's always that possibility.